232357.
2357. Okay.
All right, welcome everybody. My name is Ed Hoops, the chairman of the Conservation Commission. We will now convene the October 20th, 2022 meeting of the Yarmouth Conservation Commission as required by General Laws, Chapter 38, Sections 18 through 25, and pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. The public are able to attend this meeting either in person or via the alternative public access. Members of the public may watch the meeting live on Channel 18 or watch and/or participate in the meeting hosted in Zoom. The meeting notice provides necessary instructions to join the meeting via Zoom. Please note that audio-video screen sharing functions will be disabled for all attendees. You may request to participate by using the raise hand function. Is David joining us at all? Do you know?
He's not.
Okay. So I will take a roll call for the quorum. Ed Hoops is present. Tom Durkin.
Here.
Patricia Mulhern.
Here.
Ellie Lawrence.
Here.
Rick Bishop.
Here.
Paul Huggins.
Here.
And David Bernstein is not with us. With the quorum present, I now call the meeting for October 20th, 2022 of the Yarmouth Conservation Commission to order. First order of business is a request for determination of applicability for Stephen and Catherine LaMontagne, 6 Iders Street, Yarmouthport, Massachusetts, 02675. Proposal to replace an existing stone wall, construct new stone stairs and a new entryway, and extend an existing deck over an existing paved driveway within the buffer to the bordering vegetated wetland and coastal bank. Kieran.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members. For the record, my name is Kieran Healy. I'm a land surveyor with the BSC Group, representing of the owners of the project here tonight. What we're looking to do is to modify the front of the building to just make it safer and easier for them to get into the front door of their house. We're also adding a 1 foot 4 inch addition to the deck on the second floor. It's elevated above the existing garage under. For those of you who've been to the site, you'll notice that it's an extremely difficult site with the walls and the stones and the hills that are out there. So this is the least amount of disturbance we could do and yet give them a safer way to get into their building. The main wall that you can see as you park along the street is going to remain. We're just going to change and improve the face. You can see how some of it is not there anymore. So we're looking to reestablish the face of that concrete wall to reduce the unsightliness of it at this moment. So, but the primary reason for this is to rebuild the stairway into their front of their house and give them a 3.5 by 14 foot entranceway right by the front door. Other than that, I'd be glad to answer the questions you have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, any questions of the commission?
Well, no, it's not a question. I just noticed here with the runoff around that wall. Are they going to be addressing that to any extent? Because they do have that hose or runoff pipe coming down that is sort of eroding away.
Yeah, you'll see on the plan that I submitted that there is right at the end of the wall on the south side. They are proposing to rebuild that area with stone boulders to stabilize the whole area.
Okay. And anything about the where it's all mulch down at the face of the wall to keep that from eroding? Any thought of plantings or anything there?
I can talk to them about the plantings. I think what it is just such an amount of water. And the thing is, the water that's coming on the site isn't all from the site. A lot of it's coming off the road as it comes down that hill because it's just such a drop. So some of the erosion is coming off the street onto the property and then settling back down onto the road again at our driveway location.
Well, if they don't put something there that looks like it's just going to keep eroding away and eroding, that would be their problem anyways with that erosion there if it keeps going like that.
Yep,
I just figured the plants would sort of mitigate some of that runoff.
I will talk to them about it.
Everything good, Ellie?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I'm good.
Good.
Okay.
Okay, anybody in the audience? Anybody on Zoom? Raise your hand. If not, would somebody like to make a motion for a -3?
So moved. Ellie?
Yes. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members.
Thank you, Karen.
Yes, please. Thanks.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Next order of business is a notice of intent for Derek J. and Jillian M. Fowler, 51 Abels Road, West Yarmouth, proposed after the fact filing for clearing, grading, and proposed expanded driveway and restoration plantings within the buffer zone to a vegetated wetland. And just for the record, we have just received the SE 83 number. This is file SE 83-2357. Danny, how you doing?
Good. Good evening. For the record, Danny Gonzalez, professional engineer, Down Cape Engineering, here on behalf of the Fowlers. The owner, Derek, is actually in the audience if you had any specific questions for him. We had some clearing issues here, got hit with an enforcement order for work within 50-foot buffer to a BVW. That was about 14 months ago. At that point, we was required to put up a silt fence, which we complied with, and, you know, all work had been stopped at that point. What we're here is an after-the-fact notice of intent filing to replant within the 35-foot buffer. And the original reason for that clearing was an expanded driveway. So we have that shown on our plan. Existing paved driveway now, he's going to add some gravel to it, make it a little bit bigger, add another entrance into there. So he has a kind of half circle turnaround in there to more safely get in and out. Be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Okay, thanks, Danny. Questions from the commission?
What is he planning on doing? Is he just going to leave between the 35 and the 50, just let it go wild?
Well, we have, other than the driveway, you mean?
Well, all your mitigation is within the 35.
That's what was requested as part of the enforcement order, so that's what we
So,
provided.
From the 50 to the 35, is he just going to let it go wild, or is he going to put a lawn in there, or what's he going to do with that?
It's a good question. There's some dirt piles that'll probably get cleaned up. Do you have any?
Like over to the right of that picture right there, there was established grass in that area. That same,
May I please have your name for the record?
Derek Fowler.
Thank you.
So that was just planning on keeping it the same, grass.
Well, this is on the west side. Here, this picture's on the west side where it was all taken out, and that's not grass.
Well, right, exact where the picture
Green.
was on that other one there.
This one?
No.
Mm.
Still to the, kind of the left of that picture. Grass there.
Yeah, I just found it was sort of desolate
Right there,
between,
To the right of that stake there. Is,
Yeah.
It was like grass in there before when it was,
There's a lot of inkberry and clethra coming back in the 50, and I think it would be beneficial for that to renaturalize if we could put some type of fence, that's like a single rail fence, to keep that marked off so it can't become lawn again. But that's up to the
yeah,
commission.
that's whether it was going to be left natural or go to grass. So I'd like to see it left natural.
So there is a shed back there as well within the 50-foot, so.
It would still,
Yeah,
it's outside the 50, most of it.
to a certain extent, I think we'd like to maintain access to that and
Well, I'm thinking just to the left of that shit, right along that line, leaving
that
that
area in there.
between there and the 35, leaving that as natural, and also on the the top part, leaving that natural.
So you could do, you know, if you're saying what if I understand what you're trying to say, and I would agree with this, is if you put some sort of demarcation across, right at the 50, and then, you know, I don't have a problem with you putting like a 2-foot strip around the shed so you can access it and that sort of thing. Is that what you're looking? Do you get what I'm saying there?
I understand, yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then just leave that grow. I mean, if Clethra and Inkberry are coming in, I think that would be a good thing for the buffer there. But there's no sense in letting it go or having it converting it to lawn. I don't see grass growing there as so much as
Yeah.
the Clethra and things. So that would be my preference.
I agree.
Yep.
Okay,
So,
Paul?
Eddie, so you're talking between Mark 35 and 50, that would be just allow that to grow
You
naturally.
would let that grow. It's again, according to Brittany, it's mostly Clethra and Inkberry that's growing in there right now, starting to go in. Those are two good wetland buffer plants. So
All right.
We want some sort of delineation, like a small fence or rocks or something
yeah, so
to delineate.
okay, so then you can put some sort of a demarcation. I mean, it's up to you as to whether or not it would be like a single rail, split rail, or you could do rocks, bollards, that sort of thing. I mean, I for this I could even live with like just a 4x4 post on the ground, 20 feet apart, and that would be fine with me too. But
Sure.
just as long as we have something that demarcates that 50 foot.
If we're talking about, replanting this area too, as Brittany mentioned, there are some wetland plants coming back in there. So maybe all the plants shown in this restoration plan may not be necessary. We could kind of work that out maybe with staff we don't want to be taking out wetland plants to be putting them back in there.
Yeah, when we reviewed the restoration plan. There's really only any beneficial plants growing further up
Okay.
outside of the 35. There's a lot of annual weeds where he's going to be replanting
Okay.
that can be taken out to put in the perennials and trees. But I don't think there should be any issue with removing natives in the disturbed area.
Okay.
Okay. Any,
We agree that would offset the larger driveway, which is also going to be gravel.
yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that too.
So just to be clear, Mr. Chair,
Mm-hmm.
it says paved driveway on the plan.
That's existing.
I'm sorry.
That's existing.
It's existing. It should be
Existing,
existing.
And there's nothing else that's being added to the plan for the driveway.
Well,
And
it's a
then it's-
proposed expanded gravel driveway on.
Okay, but it doesn't say that unless I'm missed it in the notes.
Proposed expanded gravel.
Okay, I missed that. Thank you. Too busy taking minutes.
It's okay. I've been there.
Thank you.
I understand the stress.
Big.
I
Very big.
got you. I got you.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
This is one meeting and he's out of it.
That's right.
You would let Bernstein go on vacation again.
All right. Brittany, anything else?
Just one thing, there's some regrading in the 50 by the new driveway over here.
There's
And
some
with
what?
it looks like there's some regrading in the 50 here that I just noticed.
Oh, regrading?
Yes. That's
Regrade.
to kind of level out the driveway. It starts to slope off at the end of where the existing paved drive is. So we're going to bring that up a little bit and just kind of, push a little dirt down the hill there.
Okay, so it would be beneficial if that was seeded, so it doesn't just turn into an invasive plant area. If it's not going to be replanted with anything, it should be seeded with a native plant mix.
Sure. So I guess my clarification on where we want to let renaturalize where does that end?
From the 50,
At the 50?
at the 50. Where the,
Okay, well, we're talking about reseeding now within the 50.
Well,
Well,
that's a new
reseeding just the area
disturbance,
where you had done the regrading
Okay, so the rest of the 50 will
would
just
be naturalized, yeah,
naturalize. I
right.
gotcha. Okay.
Okay, you
Do
good?
we continue for plan revisions or?
I mean, I don't have an issue with issuing, but we won't issue, the order won't issue until you get the revised plan to us, so.
Yeah, we'd prefer it that way. If it's conditioned upon a revised plan, we're happy to fix that up and get that in to you shortly.
Okay. Anybody in the audience? Anybody in Zoom for this? Raise your hand. Unless there's further discussion among the commission, do I have a motion to approve this project with special conditions and not to issue until we receive a revised plan showing the 35 to 50 as being left to naturalize, with the exception of the area that's being regraded where that will be reseeded, and that there will be a line of demarcation along the 50-foot line, and that there's 2 feet along within the 50-foot, there's a 2-foot strip around the back of the shed that's allowed to be maintained for access. I think I got everything right.
Do you want the special conditions on that?
We'll just say special conditions, just so, all I gotta say is so moved and
Okay. I was
Okay.
Just wondering.
so moved from Pat, and is there a second?
Second?
All those in favor? Opposed? Carries unanimously.
Thank you very much.
And Dan, you'll be able to get those in,
Yeah, it probably won't be tomorrow, maybe Monday or
well, not
Tuesday.
tomorrow, but
Yeah.
Eric, can you tell me, are you a landscaper? Are you the owner? Can we,
Derek's the owner.
owner, great, thank you. Man, this is stressful.
You're almost done.
hey, listen, I'm even giving you some
I'm
slow,
breathing room, I
I'm
know you
slowing
are.
down here, you know? I mean- All right, next order of business is a continued stormwater management permit application for JDB 212 Mid-Tech Drive LLC, care of Turtle Rock LLC, 186 and 212 Mid-Tech Drive, Yarmouth. Proposed redevelopment of existing office building site with proposed 11,400 square foot contractor bays building with new paved parking lot, new septic system, new drainage systems, and new site lighting and landscape. This was continued from October 6, 2022.
No, I didn't.
And we have a letter in our file that is asking for another continuance, so the peer review can look at some new material that was deposited recently, and they're asking for a continuance to November 3rd. Do I have a motion to continue to November 3rd?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Opposed? It's continued onto the 3rd of November. Next order of business, I have two easy certificates to issue for certificate of compliance. One for SE 83-93 for 118 Driftwood Lane, Yarmouth, and for SE 83-2009 41 Standish Way, West Yarmouth. Do I have a motion to issue those two certificates of compliance?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously. I'm sorry, I read the wrong one. Scratch one, SE 83-176.
You didn't read that one.
You didn't read
Did I,
that one.
did I say 93? Oh,
You did the
So
right thing.
93 and.
all right,
uh,
sorry. I thought,
2009.
I just put my approval in the wrong column then, sorry. Thank you.
Can I have the motion, the LEU with the motion?
Ellie and Pat, or Tom was the second.
Thank you.
This is not.
Just one.
All right, let's see, another certificate of compliance for SE 83-176 for 175 Route 28 Yarmouth, Massachusetts. We have a request to continue this COC request to November 3rd. Is there a motion to continue to November 3rd?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously. Caught up, Cap?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, next order of business is another certificate of compliance request for SE 83-2265 for 179 Center Street, Yarmouth Port. And I believe there are some issues with this, right, Brittany?
There
Miss
are
2009?
some.
Would you like to run those issues down for us, please?
In the request for certificate of compliance letter that was submitted,
When
they
Dom came, I
included
missed
that
that
there was a patio and a gravel pad that were installed that were not on the permit. We measured the patio, it's about 500 square feet, and the gravel pad for the generator is about 100, for a total of 600 square feet of unpermitted material in the 100-foot buffer zone to the bordering vegetated wetland. So that was not on the original permit.
Okay. All right, so, with that, I mean, that's clearly a significant straying from what was supposed to be done. So that's going to have to be fixed before we can do anything with an issuance. So what I would recommend is that we deny the certificate of compliance as it's been requested and ask for an as-built plan showing all of those changes that beyond what were originally approved. And I would ask that that as-built plan be submitted to us, let's see, in 2 months. That would be this, November, December, the end of the,
December 20th.
so
Tuesday.
why don't we just, what's the first one in January? The 4th, the 5th,
Fifth.
5th, right? What the heck? Let's listen to it for on January the 5th, which means you would have to receive the plan by the 29th,
The 22nd.
22nd. Okay, so looking to receive the plan by December 22nd, 2022. I also think we had some cutting, right? You said cutting
Yes, there's been mowing in the 35-foot buffer to the wetland and in the wetland itself. Um, It seems to have been in historical mowing, but it has continued. So this is a violation of the Wetland Protection Act.
Okay, so then I would also recommend that we issue an enforcement order to stop the cutting of the wetland area and the buffer. And if we need restoration, we can move on, that can be handled under the enforcement order. Are we all set on that one? Is there any further discussion among the commission on that?
No, I think that's right on.
Everybody clear on that, what we're doing?
Yep.
All right, so then, I know this is anathema to me, but I'm going to ask, so can I ask for somebody to make a motion to deny the certificate of compliance until we receive the, well, just to deny it, and then we'll take it up on January 5th. Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously, that is denied. Our next order of business is moving into enforcement for 30 Higgins Kroll Road, West Yarmouth. This is a review of a restoration plan. I think Paul Mancuso should be in the Zoom land someplace there. I think I
Yeah,
see
he
his
is.
name, right?
Hey, yeah, can you hear me?
Hi, Paul. Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you.
Hey, yep. So yeah, I'm on the restoration plan. I mean, I don't know if you guys have any questions, but essentially, 22 of the 50 trees we found that were cut within the buffer zone to the Cedar Swamp on site. 22 of them are showing signs of regrowth and already have new sprouts coming out of the trunks. So those trees are highlighted on the plan with the darker numbers. And the trees which are not showing regrowth, those stumps are sort of in a lighter gray.
He's talking
And then all of the
Slow down.
proposed plants that you see on the plan. Yep.
Sorry, we are having like really bad difficulty. All we hear is, it sounds like the school teacher on
Charlie
the
Brown.
Peanuts, but so we
go a little
can't hear
slower.
what you're saying at all at this point. Kieran is in the audience. Can he sort of take over for you?
Sure. I mean, did you guys have questions or concerns about the restoration plan?
Paul, you're really breaking up, but I know what's going on, so I can help out for the moment. He started off by talking about a specific number of the trees already got regrowth in them, and they're coming back healthily right now. So you can see on there where we've spaced out the proposed plantings around those particular trees that are coming back, and each individual tree was identified of the trees were originally cut. And it's a pretty healthy revegetation. You can see the 50-foot buffer and the 100-foot buffer, and the plantings that are proposed around the sidewalk, the walkways, and the specific bunches of plantings in the 0 to 50, trying to replace this.
Okay. Well, I know. Has anybody seen this plan?
Yes, I've been out there too.
No,
I've
you
seen
haven't?
it. I don't think anybody down here has seen it.
Okay. Um,
Want to pass down so others can see?
Yeah, we'll pass it down whenever you're ready to, you can just keep on passing it on. We're going to take just a few minutes for them to see it as well.
That's it.
The two plans, one might be existing, one might be proposed, so let's check the titles.
This is restoration. Is that one proposed?
That's existing.
Okay.
I have some initial plan notes. We need the container sizes and tree caliper sizes on the restoration plan, so we know the size of the trees, especially going in. Definitely. And I think that proposing, I know there's a significant amount of shrubs, but 6 trees for a net of 38 trees that have not survived the cutting is an insufficient amount of trees to put back. Are my initial thoughts. Does anyone else have any thoughts?
Did you see the regrowth on some of those trees yourself? Is it coming up
Pretty
as a
small.
tree or is it coming up as a?
They're coming up as shrubs, so we'd also ask for stump management to be included in the restoration plan so that a strong leader can be identified from each stump of growth so that it would form a tree instead of a shrub.
So if we're going to be using, I mean, I don't have a problem with you using some of the trees for regrowth, but you need to specify which trees those are, and then I don't see anything where you're saying specifically that you're going to be using them, and but you're going to have to be doing some sort of training of the you're going to pick a leader, whatever leader that is.
They do have a narrative of which
That in
trees are
there?
survived. Yeah, it's an added page document. Yeah, the table there is which
Oh,
trees
okay.
survived.
They took 50 trees out. And they're suggesting planting 6. And all the rest. So you might want to sit down to them too. That's the restoration plan.
Gonna put in.
So the total DBH cut was 335.3 inches, right?
Yes,
And then you're looking at replacing with how many trees, did you say?
6.
6 maples.
So 6 maple trees, and what are they? Those are what, 3-inch caliber?
They're not specified.
He's only gonna put 6 trees in.
Yes.
um,
Both monitors.
part of the concern was he doesn't want really tall trees up next to the building.
Second, Paul, you're coming on the computer as well as the phone.
And also, there's no maples that were cut. They're all oaks.
What was the caliper on those replacements?
That wasn't specified.
Okay.
So presumably you're allowing the oaks that were cut, at least some of the oaks that were cut to sprout, and you're going to manage those in order for partial replacement.
I got it?
Mhm.
And I don't have an issue with you including red maples. I just think, do we have a total of what the trees that were cut that you're not proposing for stump management? Do we have a total of that then?
38.
10. Count 10 on that
Right,
page.
my math is not good.
It's 22,
28.
32, 42, 46. I mean, I'm well over 120 at this point. I'm not even all the way through the list. So you're talking about,
Of inches.
It didn't make sense was because if we were to replace each one with saplings with that amount of diameter, there would be no space for the trees and the trees would kill themselves. Some would survive, but the majority wouldn't survive because once they get to a certain amount of growth, they're just going to be interfering with each other.
so how many trees are you or how many shrubs are you, at what rate are you looking at in terms of replacing you're going to substitute square footage with shrubs with for a certain amount of DBH, right?
I'm sorry.
They're about 2 to 1. But you can see if you scroll, sorry, but if you could scroll up just to the plan itself, you can see that everything is pretty close. There's no wide open spaces. You know, the bank is got a lot of plants. If you would like, we could definitely add some more trees in there. But again, it's a case of, as you can see, there's not a lot of space. And the tree canopies that we show there are kind of, you know, those are pretty small compared to when they actually grow out. One of the issues here, one of the reasons this happened was that the trees were growing over the buildings and affected the buildings. So that was one of the reasons that this whole thing happened. So I mean, he definitely could add some more trees. You can see on the north side along the edge of the wetland where we've got those proposed trees right there. We could definitely add a few more trees in that area. But we're just trying to keep the back away from the existing building.
Okay, so these are the,
I'm sorry, what were you saying, Brittany?
so these are the trees back here,
Right.
H, or the red
That's good.
maples.
That's what I want.
You don't have to also plant enormous trees. You can do smaller trees that don't grow to the great size of maples and oaks.
So on that back area near the wetlands, we're looking at 70 feet between trees. I mean, it seems to me that there would be a real opportunity to put a lot more trees closer to that location without any worry of damaging the buildings. I mean, seems to me not very comprehensive.
As I said, there are some areas where we could add some more trees in that back area. Right where that number 44 is, where Brittany is right now,
65.
and possibly to the left where number 33 is right now.
Yeah.
If you want, we could redraw the plan and put a tree every 20 feet on center along that back edge.
Yeah, and Mr. Chairman, I would like to see more mature trees planted in there. You know, they went in and just clear cut this property. I think they should have a responsibility of putting something else more closely to what was there. And I think mature trees would go a long way towards that.
Because I mean, again, what was the red maples you have are proposed as what?
Leave 3-inch caliper, but it doesn't say right there, but
Okay. So, I mean, that's an issue. I mean, I think you could certainly add more trees. I think you could vary, you know, you could do a different species composition and you could use smaller growing trees and sort of more as an understory tree then. And that would go a long way in terms of filling in those spots, still keeping things, still replacing trees and not becoming some sort of an issue down the line where the trees are gonna fall on the building. You know, I mean, I think you can do it, but I think you can certainly add some more trees in there, and you can add a lot of shrubbery in the 50 foot as well.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we'll just, if the commission would approve, we can go back to the drawing board and
Yeah,
come
I'm
back
just,
with a revised plan.
That'd be
Yeah.
great.
I think just, come back with a little bit more revision to it with based on those suggestions and go from there. I mean, I think we're on the right track. I don't think we're there yet in terms of coverage. So. All right. Do you want to do?
Glad I stayed.
I am too. Because we'd still be trying to hear what
Here,
Paul's
I'll
saying.
say.
Is that good? You need, can you do 2 weeks or a month?
Oh, 2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks?
yes.
Okay, and then you'll need in a week, right? You'll need the plan in a week to review?
For November 3rd, yes. Or is that what you're asking?
Yeah, so
Okay.
if we get you on if we put you on November 3rd, you need it,
The commission needs to review it on the week before, if you can.
So we'll get it in next Thursday or Friday,
Okay, you can
do that?
You can do that?
okay?
definitely by email.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so do I have a motion to continue this until November 3rd?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously.
Mr. Chairman, thank you, members.
Thanks,
you,
Karen.
Thank you, Karen, for hanging around. Paul, sorry about that. Well, I don't know if we can do it.
I don't know.
I
Yeah.
don't know if there's anything we can do about that. Right, next order of business is approval for meeting minutes for October 6, 2022.
Thank you. That goes with the other original plans.
I don't think that was in there.
Did anybody have a chance to look at the minutes?
I did not look at the minutes.
We could continue it. It's fine.
No? All right, so I'm just going to table that to November 3rd. Any other business not reasonably anticipated?
I think Rick has an announcement.
That's where this would come in then.
He's gonna be
Rick, do
the
you
new
have an
treasurer.
announcement?
I do. The Friends of Bass River is hosting their annual Save Our River Symposium tomorrow afternoon at 4 p.m. at the West End Shot Club, and certainly would love to have all the members of the commission attend it because there's some pretty significant announcements to be made at that event.
4 p.m.?
4 p.m.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great.
I'd like to make the commission aware of a memorandum from C.D. Smith, who have been with us for a long time, as you know. It deals with the Phase 1 cost overview of the wastewater infrastructure. And I think of what's particularly notable is that the inflation rate projections of 3% per year in the past are now projected at 7% per year. So that the cost of the wastewater resource recovery facility, that's the treatment plant, was proposed at 97 million. It's now 126.5 million. The collection system was proposed at 65.4 million. It is now 80.9 million. So the total has gone from 162.4 to 207.3. It is extremely important that we move expeditiously as possible on this, because inflation is significantly presenting problems, economic problems for us. But I thought you'd like to be aware of that.
Well said. Thank you, Tom.
Scary.
Anybody else? You know we don't have public comment, right?
I know, I have a question.
Yep.
And I wanted to ask you about 41 Standish. Was that everything okay?
41 Standish was approved.
It was.
I can't believe I came here 15 minutes after the meeting and you're done with that. So that's awesome. You guys are blowing through an agenda. Question for Brittany and the board. I was told years ago by another commissioner and an arborist that if you put in a 2-inch caliber tree versus a 4-inch caliber tree, the 4-inch caliber tree will spend 2 to 3 years sort of getting its root system back in place before it will grow at all. And the 2-inch caliper tree will hit the ground running and will actually outpace the 4-inch caliper tree. Do you have any input for that? Because I only heard it from one source, but
I'm not an arborist, but they do a significant amount of root pruning on trees when they're put into ball and burlap. So I imagine that would make sense. I don't know about the extent to which you're talking, but yeah, I could imagine a 2-inch caliber tree would be able to regain their root material faster than a 4-inch because of the amount lost.
fair enough. That was all.
All right.
Thank you.
Unless there's any further business, would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Don't want to go. Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimous. We stand adjourned at 5:45.